So today we're going to practice multiplying mixed numbers. For our first problem, we're going to be taking a look at a real world problem of finding the area of a garden bed. This particular garden bed is 5.5 feet wide and 6 3/4 feet long. So to find the area, you would multiply length times width. That means we would multiply 5.5 times 6 3/4. Let's see how we can do that with the area model. We could go ahead and do it directly on top of the garden as it already has the correct dimensions. We would just be splitting it by whole numbers and fractions. However, it's hard to see due to the plants in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and do a regular model. I want you to go ahead and do this with me, so make sure you have a piece of paper handy. So first you're going to go ahead and draw your area model. And then you're going to go ahead and separate 5 1/2 and then 6 3/4. We're going to split this up. Okay, so next you're going to go ahead and fill in each square by multiplying, right? So 6 times 5 is 30. And over here we have 1/2 times 6, right? That's going to be 3. You could go ahead and do 1/2 6 times, or you could think of 1/2 of 6, and that's 3. So now we have 3/4 times 5, or 5 times 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and write it as 5/1 because that means the same thing as 5. Okay, so we have 15/4. Next, we're going to do 1/2 times 3/4. And so we have 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 4 is 8. So we have 3/8. So now, altogether, we have 30 plus 3 plus 15/4 plus 3/8. So we're going to have to go ahead and figure out the fraction piece here. It's going to end up being more than a whole because we could tell that 15 is greater than 4. So we know it's going to be more than a whole, and it's going to be adding to our whole numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this one into a mixed number, and then we're going to find a common denominator to add the 3/8. So let's see here. How many times does 4 go into 15 without going over? So you would say it would go in 3 times, 4, 8, 12, right? So 3 times. And what's left over? So 3 times 4 is 12. And then you have 3 left over, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you have 3 3/4 is your mixed number. Okay? Then we have 3/8. So we could separate our whole number and think of it as part of those, right? And we're going to just go ahead and focus on adding these fractions. So now we need to get a common denominator. So fourths and eighths, that's not too hard to get. We're going to go ahead and multiply 3 3/4. Sorry. We're going to multiply 4 times 2 to get 8. And then we'll have to do the same thing to the top. So let's go ahead and do that. 3 times 2 is 6. And 4 times 2 is 8. So now we have 6/8 plus 3/8. And that is equal to a total of 9/8. But we're going to have to turn that into a mixed number because, again, 9 is greater than 8. So we actually, 9/8 is actually going to equal 1, right? Because 8 could go into 9 one time, and then we have 1/8 left over. So all together now, we're going to have to add all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and write this in big red numbers over here of everything we've come up so far. We have 30, right? Here we have our 30. We have 3 right here. And over here we have another 3 from our 3 3/4. And then we're going to have to add we added our fractions together, so we have 1 1/8. We could actually write plus 1 1/8 or we could write plus 1 and plus 1/8 because you're still adding it together. So I'm going to go ahead and separate it to make it easier. So first we're going to add all of our whole numbers, and then we're going to add our fractions. So we have 30 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1. So we have 36, so 37. And then we add our fraction and 1/8. So the answer is 37 1/8. Okay, so 5 1/2 times 6 3/4 is equal to 37 1/8. Now that we did one together, I want you to go ahead and try one on your own. I want you to go ahead and figure out the area of this other garden bed. It is 4.5 feet by 3 5/8 feet. Go ahead and set up your area model and solve. When you're done, compare your answer to mine. What I'm going to do is go ahead and get rid of the plants, and I'm going to use this square as my area model. Let's go ahead and split up my area model. Okay. I have 4 1/2, and then I have 3 5/8. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then I have 3 times 1/2, which is equal to 1 1/2. We have 4 times 5/8. And that gives me 20/8. And then we have 5/8 times 1/2. And that equals 5/16. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write down our whole numbers and fractions that we have so far. So let's see here. We have 12 plus 1 1/2 plus, now we have this improper fraction, meaning the numerator is larger than the denominator, so we're going to turn it into a mixed number. So let's do that really quick. How many times does 8 go into 20 without going over? It goes in 2 times. And how many pieces are left? So 8 times 2 is 16. Then we have 17, 18, 19, 20. We have 4 left. So we have 2 4/8. The great thing about that is 4/8 is actually equal to 1/2. That'll make this easy for us. So we have 2 4/8 plus 5/16. Oops, made it a little bit big there. So we have 5/16. Then you're going to add them all together. I suggest doing fractions first in case it turns into whole numbers, right? So we're going to go ahead and do 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 5/16. So that is equal to 1/2 plus 4/8, which is another half, is equal to 1 5/16. And then we have to add our other whole numbers. So we got 12 plus 1, that's 13, plus 2 more is 15. So now we have 15 plus 1 5/16, which is a total of 16 5/16. Remember, the units we're working in are feet, right? And because it's area, it's feet squared. So your answer is right over here. It's 16 and 5/16 feet squared.